You're scrolling, drifting through the endless static of the algorithm, waiting for the signal to cut through the noise. Consider, if you will, that you just found the frequency. You've just stepped off the timeline of the everyday, into the space where the forgotten history and the hidden truths finally touch down. There's the story you know, and then there's the airspace we're about to enter. Check your coordinates, because you're heading towards the landing point. Today's story: Close Encounters. There are times when a man rolls the dice with mortality and wins. This is a story about a winner. We'll call him Stanley. Stanley made a living doing something most folks wouldn't dare. He drove a race car. And not just any race car, he drove at the Brickyard, the Indianapolis 500. He was a veteran of the track, a man who stood the razor line between glory and catastrophe. It was May 28, 1995. The green flag waved, and the roaring 33 engines shook the Indiana ground. But before the first lap was even completed, disaster struck. Going into turn 1, Stanley's car was clipped by another driver. It spun, went airborne, and slammed into the outside retaining wall with unimaginable, deafening force. The carbon fiber tub, the very shell designed to protect the driver, sheared completely in half. If you saw the television broadcast that day, you remember the chilling image. The entire front of the car was gone. Stanley's legs were dangling completely exposed to the open air as the wreckage slid down the track in a shower of sparks and debris. The world held their breath. Nobody survives a crash like that. But Stanley did. Oh, it wasn't easy. He suffered from head injuries. He spent 5 days in a coma. He spent months in grueling rehabilitation. The doctors told him his racing days were over, and they were. But Stanley's living days were just getting a second wind. He fought his way back. He learned to walk again. He learned to talk again. He took a tragedy that ended his career and turned it into a calling and started a support group called Head First to help others who were suffering from traumatic brain injuries. Stanley had beaten the ultimate odds. He had looked at the Grim Reaper in the eye at over 200 miles per hour, and the Reaper blinked. Stanley was safe. Fast forward 5.5 years. The year is 2000. Stanley is thousands of miles away from the roaring engines and the concrete wall of Indianapolis. He's visiting friends in New Zealand, enjoying life, giving speeches, and doing exactly what a man living on borrowed time ought to do. He was driving down a 2-lane public highway known as the Desert Road. It wasn't a racetrack, just a quiet stretch of asphalt. There were no fire suits, no crash helmets, no speeds exceeding 200 miles an hour. Just an everyday passenger van. And then on that quiet road, his van collided head-on with a truck. The man who had miraculously survived one of the most violent, terrifying, and spectacular crashes in American motor racing lost his life in a routine traffic accident on a lonely highway halfway across the world. The man who couldn't be killed by a disintegrating Indy car was taken by a daily commute. His name is Stan Fox, and whether you realize it or not, this is The Landing Point. Thank you for watching today, The Landing Point. Our stories come out Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, so you can always catch our latest story. I'd like to thank our sponsor, Roadrunner Real Estate. They're a full-service real estate company that can help you with both your real estate, residential and commercial needs, both buying and selling and leasing for the commercial side. If you haven't done so already, please go out to our YouTube page and subscribe so you can get our latest stories that come out. If you want our latest updates, please go to our Facebook page and follow and like that. And then for those of you that enjoy just listening to stories when you're out on the drive, we do have our podcast too that you can hear the same stories. Thank you for listening to today's story, and we'll catch you next time.